Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Yeah, these go to 11.
It's time to take an inside look at those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to a special Thrive Loud catch-up episode where we are trying to connect you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond, and today on Thrive Loud, we get to catch up with someone that was on earlier this year. She is the Impact Guide, a speaker, best-selling author, horseback riding violinist, just not at the same time.
We try.
And the founder of Grow Disrupt and the host of the 2022 Grow Retreat. Thrive Loud listeners, I am so glad to have her back on the program. Stephanie Scheller. Stephanie, how are you today?
I'm phenomenal. How about you, Lou?
Just rocking and rolling. I was like looking forward on the calendar to say anytime I get to catch up with awesome people, it's great. But to get to catch up with you is even more amazing because you've got so much stuff going on. So this is what I want to do for our listeners. I want to do kind of a catch-up theme. I want to catch up with you as to what's been going on since the last time we had you on. By the way, your episode ran in like June, July of this summer. Does that sound like?
I think so.
I can't figure out if that feels like a minute ago. Does that feel like a minute ago or a long time ago? I never know.
Well, so I remember because that was when like my whole world was like falling apart, and like that was when all of the health. We had like a 2-month period. So my mother-in-law ended up in the hospital, which she ended up passing away. My brother-in-law was in the hospital at the same time frame. Then I had to go in for surgery. Then our dog had to go. And this was April. My mother-in-law went in. May, my brother-in-law went in. May, I went in. July, my dog went in to get amputated. And then July, my husband went in for open heart surgery. So it aired right in there. I remember seeing your email come through and being like, I'm really excited and also really distracted.
First of all, again, condolences to you and your whole family, but obviously, hopefully everyone else is okay now. Is everyone good?
Yeah, we're doing great. And it is funny. Everyone's like, wow, there must be something great for you on the other side. I'm like, just my general life. Like, it's kind of crazy how I still look around days and I'm like, this is what I get to do. This is so cool. This is fun.
Appreciation for what you do each and every day is just what makes you awesome. All right, but you've had recently a couple of events and some things going on. Share with the listeners, just, people want to get a feel for your world. It's pretty cool because you not only get to do what you do every day, literally in the office and outside the office, which is a whole other part of the ballgame, but the work that you're actually doing is pretty fun stuff. So share with the listeners what's been happening of late, and then we'll bleed into what's coming next.
Of late. Okay. So on the tail end of everything going wild in my personal life, we launched a sister nonprofit. So we established an award. One of my team members came to me earlier this year and said, Stephanie, we should put together an award, right? We should recognize companies that are making an impact. So we put together the Impact Awards, and really through the whole process of putting this award together, and we actually ended up giving away, well, I won't give that away just yet. All right. So we decide we're going to give away $3,500 in cash plus tickets to the Grow Retreat. So the 2 winners got 2 tickets to the Grow Retreat. And then we were like, okay, that's really cool. But let's see if we can like bump this up, right? How much money can we give away? How much stuff can we give away here? And through the whole summer, like me and my whole team just fell in love with this whole process and highlighting these business owners. And we realized this is very much in line with an entire leg of stuff we've been doing, which is putting on these give back support events. And so we launched a nonprofit, an actual 501c3 called Building Impact Businesses, that is all about supporting businesses that are creating an impact, whether that's a nationwide global impact or you're making an impact on your neighborhood and your community. And it was really cool to see everyone come together because on the night, and it was like even the Tuesday before the event, the event was on Thursday. Tuesday before the event, we had people reaching out saying, hey, we want to, throw this in to give away. We ended up giving away more than $30,000 worth of stuff to the finalists. Awesome. It was so freaking cool. So that was October. And then we actually had another event. This is where I'm like, this is my life. I get to do this. We put on this event where we rented this, no joke, like 15,000 square foot mansion in the mountains of Utah. We had a celebrity entrepreneur come out and spend the weekend with us. We had a private chef on site. And we just sat there and brainstormed and talked and worked through exercises on growing your business. And it was just the absolute coolest thing ever to experience. So
that's awesome.
Man, it was fun. It was fun. I had one person, she goes, I'm not complaining, but I think the only thing you could have done better would be if you brought a cup of coffee to my bed in the morning.
See, that's not a complaint. That's like, what would be the ultimate fantasy
Right.
high point of this? That's just spectacular. By the way, those retreats in those places, I used to always, one time I went visiting in Montana and I saw one of these massive homes and I remembered saying, I go, that doesn't look like there's anybody in there. And somebody goes, no, they just use those for crazy events. And sure enough, like a night later, there was one of those events going on. I go, I got to hang out with that crowd a little more often.
Right? Oh my God. There's like, it's the coolest. Seriously, it is the coolest experience when you get to rent out. We've rented a 25,000 square foot house for the one next year. So this particular event's called the Growcation, because it's a vacation that you're going to grow your business on.
I like it.
I know, corny. But so we've been a 5,000 square foot house for this next one. It has a bowling alley. It has like 3 pools. It's friggin' unreal. We're ecstatic for next year's Growcation already. So it's gonna be a blast.
So when we try, let's do a very fitting segue here. I want to connect the dots here, and I want to talk about first with you. What the importance of connection means to you, and specifically a lot of these companies that you're helping them to grow, connect, and thrive.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny you asked that question, because one of the things I've realized as we are preparing for our next upcoming event is I always end up choosing like these themes for the year that my whole business ends up revolving around, Connect being the big one this year. And I have come to the realization, looking back over the past couple of years, the only reason we were able to have the kind of growth we had last year. And again, like people are staggered when I'm like, yeah, we put on events. They're like, oh, you had a rough couple of years. I'm like, no, we grew 48%. They're like, what? I'm like, right. Like that doesn't make any sense. The only reason we did that was because we reached a new level of connection. See, a lot of times businesses struggle with one of two things. Either the business owner is the hub of the connection, which is where I was in 2019, right? So in 2019, I was the hub. Everything came through Stephanie, and I'm going to think that was exhausting.
Yeah.
And so we started to realize, okay, Stephanie cannot be the hub anymore. We have to start connecting the team members to each other. We have to start connecting departments to each other, because like, I can't be the person saying, oh yeah, go ask the graphics team to pull that together for you. Like you're responsible for getting the swag pulled together. Your job is to know, I'm going to go to the graphics team to get the graphics for this. And I'm not going to ask Stephanie because I know Steph's going to just, right. So we had to like create these interdepartment connections that didn't exist ahead of time. What we saw was that by taking me out of the hub, we expanded the capacity for the entire business to grow. And it kind of made me laugh, because this last year's Grow Retreat 2021, people kept coming up to me to ask questions. There were some AV issues on the first morning, and a couple of people came up and were like, did you guys try this? Did you try this? And I just looked at them very blankly and I said, I'm not involved in that. You have to ask the AV team. Because I'm no longer the hinge, right? My team was connected and working 100%. And my job was to connect with the audience. And so it freed me up to do that. So that to me has been like my anthem, and primarily ensuring that there's connection on a couple levels. One, the departments have to connect, right? So my people have to connect, know how to connect. Two, my marketing has to connect. And this was something we missed for years, where I had designed marketing that really didn't hit the mark and didn't connect with the audience that I wanted. And so I would be talking to someone that I'd be like, oh my God, you're a perfect fit for this. And they'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, Like it was heartbreaking, right? Because I felt like they were saying no to me. They weren't saying no to me necessarily. They were just, the marketing didn't resonate. It didn't connect. Right. And so realizing, okay, I gotta connect my team. I gotta connect my marketing to my client. And more importantly, right? So I got to make the connection between departments for my team, but I also need to connect the team to our long-term mission. Where are we going as a company? And these are the three areas where I see people kind of fall apart and fragment. So they end up with departments that don't discuss. And you end up at the place where I was last year, at the beginning of last year in 2019, where it was like, oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. Like I can't handle 40. There was one point I was spending 2.5 hours a day just answering emails. And like 80% of them was my team. And I was like, okay, we're done. But when you have these segmented departments or individuals who are segmented and not connected to where you're going as a company, what happens is you actually begin to destroy your ability to move the business forward. And I'll use a really cool example for you. So, you know what Clydesdales are, right?
I certainly do.
The big horses, right?
Big horses. All those Budweiser commercials.
Yeah, I know. So they're the big Budweiser horses, right? So on average, now these are averages, okay? It varies pretty widely, but on average, an average Clydesdale weighs about 1,700 pounds. And they can pull like 5,000. Like you get a Clydesdale, like they can pull a decent amount. However, when you get two Clydesdales teamed up together and they're pulling, they're not going to pull 10,000 pounds. They'll actually pull on average 12,000 pounds, with the world record being, I almost want to make you guess, but you're not going to believe it.
I was going to say like 15, 20. I'll go 20. 22,000. Holy cow.
22,000 pounds for two draft horses to pull. I mean, that's
11 tons. That's incredible, actually.
That's insane, right? Like, what? That one can pull 5, two can pull on average 12, which is still 20% more. And at record levels, 22,000 pounds.
So the power of connection, as you are hitting home, is when you're able to, it's not just 1 + 1 equals 2. It's 1 + 1 equals who knows what. Right.
And 6. And it's cool. It's really cool stuff. So I'm obsessed.
So I love this, by the way, because one of the things I end up helping people with is working with salespeople to better connect to their end target, marketers to better connect their message. But what you just hit, and this is the most important part for the leaders who listen to this podcast, you're helping to better connect to your people and getting your people to connect to each other. And I think what's great is you've picked a theme for your event that truly connects all of this together.
Right.
Let's do the true bleed in here for your event, because your 2022 Grow Retreat, the theme is connect. And what's even better, listeners need to see the magic of, we'll put the logo in the podcast artwork. What she did with the 2 and the 2 is absolutely brilliant, by the way. She flipped it so that it would represent some of the letters in it. Did you think of that on your own? I mean, like the ends, come on, that's just spectacular.
You know, I really, so here's the thing. I have people ask me this all the time. They're like, you are such a brilliant marketer, Steph. I'm like, I am, because I know better than to be the smartest person in the room. Yes. I keep really great designers around me, really creative marketers. And I lean into my strength, which is strategy and like overarching design. And then I let these people who have these brains that work in crazy, wild ways that I'll never be able to match, come up with these really cool, like with the connecting twos. And I love I love logos like that make people look twice.
And it was one of those, and I don't know if you know this, 22 is my lucky number. So I looked at it and I was like, that is just spectacular. I had a little bit of envy. I won't lie to you. I was like, I wish I did that. So let's talk about this. What do you have lined up for this event? And so that people can understand what the theme's about and what's going to happen.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny you asked that. So last night I was sitting down doing a bunch of research, planning, marketing for this event, right? And I'm looking at all of these other events just to see what they've got going on. And I'm realizing like every other event I'm looking at, they're like, we have hundreds of speakers and thousands of breakout rooms and millions of hours of content. Maybe not millions, but that's the general gist. And I'm just looking at it and all I can think is like, that's overwhelming AF. Like, I don't want to go to that event. I want to go to an event where I know everything is curated for me, right? Because that type of event is just a, hey, let's throw it as wide a net as we can. And me as an attendee, maybe I'm going to find my right like corner to sit in and maybe I'm not because there's so much going on. How am I going to find it? So what we've done with the Grow Retreat is we have designed this entire event around our attendees. Our attendees are entrepreneurs. They are ADHD. They are all over the place sometimes. They have a lot going on. And that's good because it's what's allowed them to grow their business, right? This event caters to successful entrepreneurs. And our biggest job is when they walk in the door and they're checking their phone and they're checking in on 40 different things that they're supposed to be checking in on. Our biggest job is to get them focused on the event. So we have designed this entire event. There are 5 speakers plus me and the MC. So 7 total people, right? 5 speakers across 2 days. The idea is we're going to introduce you to a carefully curated concept. And then we're going to connect it to your business and implementing it using a workshop on day 2. So you're going to get introduced to ideas. And these are not the same ideas you've seen at every other event, because that was the other thing I said we're absolutely not doing. We're not doing the same content everyone has done. And so we have a speaker who's coming in and talking about how do you connect with yourself as the leader. You can't connect to your team unless you're connected to yourself. And there are always things happening that are causing disconnect between you and the person you could be, the leader you could be. So we have her coming in. I'm putting together some really spectacular content. If you like the Clydesdale thing, wait till you see what I'm going to do next when I'm talking about connection at the Grow Retreat.
If you come in on a Clydesdale, this will be worth videoing.
I think I probably would get in trouble with the venue. We have this like gorgeous, like no joke, it's a I can't remember how old it is, but it's a landmark, it's a historical landmark chapel that we're doing this. So I would love to come in on a Clydesdale. Probably not going to happen. However, the next piece is phenomenal. My job is to connect all the dots of all the speakers for the attendees. So we have one person coming in talking about connect with yourself. We have another one coming in about how do you create connection moments with your brand? How do you create a moment that connects, the kind of moments that go viral, right? That's what he's going to come in. And he's someone who has literally done this hundreds and hundreds of times. He was the person who established the Spurs Coyote as one of the top mascots in the NBA. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
So,
very
yeah.
Cool.
We have a gentleman coming in who has worked with hundreds of companies on connecting their departments. How do you get sales and fulfillment to stop hating each other? How do you get sales and marketing to stop hating each other? And then really importantly, how do you connect fulfillment back to marketing? Because your customers should become your customers again, right? We have you coming in. Obviously, we had to have you come in.
Listeners need to know, yes, this might be a little self-fulfilling here, but yes.
Of course. But really, like, and it's funny because I work through this your agent, right? And this year when I said, this is the theme, she goes, OMG, you have to talk to Lou. This is what he does. It's the science. Stephanie, it's the science of connection. It's how the brain works. I was like, yes, we're in. Like, let's go. But so we have Lou, and then I know there's
a surprise guest we can't talk about because that I do know. And you've got, those are connections as a leader. You've got, I'll give the list here. You got Kelly Ruda, Daryl Amy, Rob McCall, Charmaine Hammond. I think we covered that. And yours truly here on just that was just day 1 there. I didn't even get to, there's another day of this activity. I want to rewind before we take one step forward. Okay. And that is, you get excited about everything, which you could see. Your energy is so contagious. And those who are listening, putting together an event has so many logistical pieces. What you described before when you were at the hub of everything, it's exhausting. Yeah. But now in the seat that you're in and having connected with the right people and have the right people responsible for what it is so that you can make this event truly move onward and upward each and every year. Which part of the event do you like doing most? Is it all of the
Oh.
ideating of thinking about what the next event could be? Is it the specific planning and putting the pieces together? Is it, doing the event itself and having everyone there? Or then trying to figure out afterwards, what worked, what didn't? I could see you somehow liking all of it, but I want to know which one of those you like most.
I'm super torn here. I do like a lot of it. I love putting together. We do a new keynote. I do need new content every year. I love putting all of that together. I love the details. I think I have kind of a two-part answer for you. What I love the most about this event, about putting on events, is the tiny details that make it really over the top. It's sitting there and saying, I'm an entrepreneur too, and I'm ADHD too, and I'm a little introverted, believe it or not. And what would I need if I were sitting in the audience to really be able to walk out feeling like I've already started implementing this, like we're already going, right? To feel empowered when I walk out and not overwhelmed. Because I've gone to the events where you walk out and all you are is overwhelmed, and man, you need 3 days just to recover, but you can't because you got to get back to the office because you already gone for 3 days. That's my favorite part, is designing, thinking about, and every time I find some tiny new little nuanced aspect that's going to make it better, that gets me jazzed. Because what happens is after the event is over, I'm getting text messages, I'm getting feedback from people who, like the one I got this past year. I'm laying in bed. It's the second day. It just got into bed. It was late. We'd finished debriefing with the team. I finally crawled into bed. My phone dings. I roll over. I pick it up. One of the attendees has texted me. She says, Stephanie, I have some feedback for you, which is usually like not the most I'm like, oh dear. Okay. Like if someone feels obliged to text you at 11:30 at night, the night of the event, that's usually because they're very emotional. Right? Because I have some feedback for you. She goes, every year you hold this event at the time of year when I feel like I seem to be the most broke. And every year I question how much money I spend on this ticket, because I'm not going to lie, it is not a cheap ticket. And I'm like, these are all accurate points here. And she goes, and every year I walk into this room feeling like such a failure. And I walk out feeling like a possibility.
Wow.
I feel capable, like I can accomplish something. And that, man, like that is what I care about most. It's finding the little things that I can do to make sure everyone walks out feeling that way. Because entrepreneurs are unbelievable. And we are so hard on ourselves. We do not give ourselves breaks. We do not give ourselves enough credit. We won't even take time away. Like we have to break this workcation, this growcation, a vacation into a working vacation to get these business owners to come, because they don't give themselves that kind of break that they deserve.
Listeners, if that didn't connect with you right away and how much Stephanie appreciates what she does here, I think you answered the question in a weird way. And basically, it not only is all these things, but it's the result of what these events generate to that participant. And you're right. There are a lot of events out there that have thousands of speakers and tons of events. I've always made this comment. Those events, you never compare someone's beginning to another person's middle.
Right.
But a lot of those other events are meant for different audiences and have to house it. When you've created a specialty thing, which by the way, as you've said, continues to grow as we just the Grow Retreat, what seems to be spectacular is you're getting the people back and again, and you're creating connections within it and continuing to provide value. Yeah. What I will tell you from a lot of these large events is that sometimes they've jumped the shark, and no matter what it is, people are like, yeah, it was great, but I'm not going back again. Or it was
Yeah.
just too much of this. To establish a connection shows that you, as even though you're the head figure of this, it's become more than just you, and the connections you've made have created a community. And that's really what makes these events spectacular. So kudos to you, by the way, and thank you for sharing all that. That was really, and she started getting emotional, people. We almost got tears out of that.
I almost got tears. I know. But that is where I get so passionate, because I did the same thing, right? Business, we're the first person to get our pay cut. We're the first person to work long. We're the first person to kill ourselves for our business. We sacrifice our health thinking we're going to get the business healthy. Business then realized like we have to take time away, and we realize, oh crap, business isn't healthy. It only was successful because of me. Now I've got my health back and I have to go back on the hamster wheel. This is not why we got into business. I had a conversation. I'm really excited here. I had a conversation with someone just last week, and she's crying. I'm trying not to cry on the call. And she goes, my business is 18 months old and I have wanted to quit it every single day. She goes, this is not why I went into business. I made more money in corporate. I don't know why I'm putting myself through this. I hate this. And that just breaks my heart that so many entrepreneurs end up at that space. Because it shouldn't. We're doing real good in the world. Like, we're making an impact. I believe if we can change culture at a small business level, small businesses can change quicker than a big business, right? Yeah. If I can change culture at a small business level to where we are providing a better culture experience for our employees, because no one deserves to go to work and hate their job. No one should have to do that. And if we can do that at a small business level, it will suddenly become unacceptable for these big companies to facilitate and perpetuate these terrible, toxic cultures, because not everyone out there wants to be a business owner, and not everyone out there should have to go through that. There should be places you can go find a place to work that you actually love working. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Sorry.
That's spectacular. So, you can hop on that soapbox anytime you want, Stephanie. That's the message that entrepreneurs need to hear, and our listeners appreciate so much. So we're going to do two last things before we sign off here. One, share with the listeners where everybody can learn about the 2022 Grow Retreat, links and stuff like that. I know she's so excited. She's like, ooh, let me go. We'll put it on the show notes, but it gets more engagement when they hear it from you, especially if they're driving or riding a horse or doing something else. Yes.
So it is super, or riding a horse, because I know all of you guys are out there riding horses while listening. So it is super easy to find it. It is www.thegrowretreat.com. You can leave off the www if you want to, but it is the Grow Retreat, the only Grow Retreat, the best way to grow your business. And it's a retreat experience. We're not going to kill you with 18-hour days. We're going to create concise content, the right content to help you grow your business. Thegrowretreat.com. Super easy.
We could not end an episode of Thrive Loud without Stephanie Scheller doing what she did the last time she came on the show, where she literally made my jaw drop. For those who have heard the previous episode, she's got a talent and she's got a skill. And you have something to play for us here today on this violin, do you not? Yeah, and she's not on top of a Clydesdale, people. Don't worry. She's only in her studio performing, and she's ready to roll.
So
what are we going to hear? Yeah.
We took the violin out one time to go do a shoot out at the barns, and where I'm doing this shoot at the top of the hill, right? And all of a sudden my photographer's like, keep going, keep playing. And I'm like, okay. I keep playing, and I'm like, I finished the one song and I just keep going. I'm like, I turn around, like all the horses have like come up behind me and they're all just like staring. It was awesome. Like crazy. It was hilarious. That said, what should I play for you guys? Let's go with one of my favorites. This is a classic one. It's an Oscar reading. I'll just play the first little bit to the concerto here.
Here she goes. Stephanie Scheller, you truly do thrive loud. Thank you so much for coming back on today.
Thank you for having me back. Seriously.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.